Hi, minasan konnichiwa,
Konnichiwa.
or ohayo gozaimasu,
Ohayo gozaimasu.
konbanwa.
Mada desu kedo.
Hey, okay, it's not
It's
evening.
morning
So
still. So
this is I'm Mark Marin,
I'm Greg Taylor.
and this is Musings from Japan number
36.
6.
36.
We count like this in Japan. You put your finger down here. 5 plus 1 is 6, not
That's
6.
Right. 36.
6.
Well, Mark, how are you doing?
Well, I'm alive. Things are going okay, and
Yep.
I'm not dead. And I had my first COVID shot.
Oh, great. Yay. Congratulations.
How about you?
Well,
As of this day, you are fully vaccinated?
I'm fully vaccinated, but I'm not fully inoculated. I had my second shot of Moderna yesterday.
Oh.
And so I received.
That means you've had two Modernas. I've had one
Moderna,
Pfizer.
Yeah.
Actually, the day after tomorrow, I'll get my second Pfizer.
Oh, great. So it's coming up for you too.
Okay, and then the question that most people ask: any side effects?
Well, let me tell you this real quick.
Okay.
When I had the injection yesterday, I went to Nagoya, and it was a terrible rainy afternoon in Nagoya.
Oh, we'll talk about weather later.
Yeah. So I go there, and I get the injection, and she says, ready for the injection, and so I didn't feel a thing. I felt nothing. No, I didn't feel the needle or anything. And then
Because you're numb?
No, I don't know what happened, but
you're senseless.
The first injection, it hurt.
Yeah.
But this one, there was absolutely no sensation. And so when I went to wait for the allotted time period of 15 minutes, I went and waited. Then I could gradually feel it, and then it got worse, and I don't feel well today. So I didn't.
You have a fever, or
I checked, and I didn't get a fever. I don't have a fever.
Okay.
But I know that's common.
What kind of symptoms do you have right now?
Oh, my arm is very sore, and body aches, and I feel almost like I almost have the flu.
Oh.
So
but you have your taste?
Yep.
I see your hair is kind of thin. Did that happen?
Oh, I went to the barber.
Oh, okay. That's different then. Okay.
Yeah. Since this pandemic started, I've only been to that barber 4 or 5 times at the most.
You don't have that much hair. You go to the barber to
But my wife usually cuts my hair.
Okay. So since the pandemic, I've been to the barber twice.
Wow. Well, how do you get your hair cut?
At the barber. I go to the barber.
Yeah, but the pandemic's been on for 18 months.
And I've gone twice.
Do you cut your own hair?
No, I let it grow. And about 8 or 9 months, I go get it whacked out really short. And then it grows. And, so next time I'll get a cut, probably next spring.
Oh my gosh. Somehow I don't believe you.
I'm serial. Only twice, actually.
Foie gras?
Foie gras. I like foie gras. That's really good.
Yeah, I bought some today. Yeah. Boy, anyway, I'll tell you.
Anyway, but well, okay, well, good. So I'm looking forward to my shot on Sunday. I'll go to what surprises me about going to get the first shot that I got. I saw, I think I was 8 different people before I got jabbed, as the British say. 8 different people. I'm going, and I had to fill out paperwork at each one. I'm going, I thought the Prime Minister of Japan wanted to digitize things and make it more convenient, but
no, they still have the bureaucracy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And that's why we still can't get the proper medications for everyone. That's why we have a surge in COVID here, because the government bureaucracy moves at a snail's pace. I think a snail moves quicker than the Japanese bureaucracy, actually.
Possibly, but I know that a lot of people are getting vaccinated that I talk to.
I know a lot of people that aren't getting vaccinated because it's not available. Our students, we're talking NSG, the school that I work for, there, at least in our building, we have 1,200 students that have been delayed a month because the government bureaucracy is too slow. I didn't say that.
I talked to somebody who said that they had their vaccination delayed.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. So our students won't get the first shot until next Sunday.
Wow.
The 29th, that would be August 29th. That's a full 6 weeks delayed.
That's terrible.
That's stupid. And and we start school the next day. So instead, we can't have any students in school. So we're going to be online for 10 days after that. So I have to start the semester online, which is not what I wanted to do.
No.
But it's because of the government's inability to facilitate access to all people in Japan with the proper dosages of the vaccine.
I don't know if you recall, but they said we'd all be inoculated or vaccinated by September.
Yeah, I remember that.
Earlier this year, they said it'd all be done by September.
They're not even going to get enough vaccine for enough people in Japan until December. We won't even get the materials. Why? Because of the bureaucracy and the slow procedure, the snail's pace of ordering and whatever. Anyway, at least I'm going to get mine because I'm old.
Is that why I got mine?
Maybe, I don't know.
Actually,
Aichi, where you're at, you moved quicker because you have a larger population and your prefecture has been in more danger than where I'm at.
Yeah.
So right now you're in another emergency situation.
With the American CDC saying that they are close to recommending a shot after.
They already are.
A third booster shot.
But did you also? I mean, it depends on who you believe. But the WHO, the what do you
World
call
Health
that?
Organization.
Yes, not the rock band. But the WHO was saying that the United States, right now, there is no scientific evidence that proves that getting a booster is absolutely necessary. There is not enough evidence or case studies to prove that. So it's actually, they're saying that the United States is overreacting. And see, Japan is playing between the WHO and the United States. And so that's why Japan is not saying anything about a third booster shot.
What I'm amazed about is that here in Japan, where we have completely different pharmaceuticals that you get, you often don't have the international pharmaceuticals. You have Japanese pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine.
And AstraZeneca.
Is that also here?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And also they have their own medications that they give to those who do have COVID. They have these medications that give them to ease the breathing, to make the breathing better and things like that. They have these medications already set up. But a lot of the medication pharmaceuticals in Japan come from within Asia. So I think a lot of their manufacturers are actually in Thailand, Vietnam, Taiwan, and they share a lot of those medicines with those countries. And those countries primarily here are not as in extreme conditions as they were before in India or Europe, especially. So I don't know. I am just being selfish. I'm taking the medication because I want to get it. I want to be able to travel. And in order to travel in the world, I need to have those shots, the inoculations to prove. So I want to be able to, in case something happens or I need to go to America, they say, do you get shot? Boom, I got my shot card.
Yeah. So what about what's our proof? They're talking about some COVID ID,
Yeah,
COVID vaccination ID. What's our proof in Japan?
that's what I'm talking about. We have it. I filled out that form. I had already filled out
Are we
that
talking
form.
about coupons, or the coupons that you get from your city, or are we talking about what are we talking about for
Yeah.
proving that we had the
They're
vaccination?
they're issued when you filled out the forms. You filled out a format. What's going to do is going to give you some sort of.
I got a paper, and it said that it told the dates that I received the inoculations.
Right, and then it's going to be documented, and you're going to get a digital. It's going to go on your phone. I don't know if you have, what do you call it? What is it? Let me see. I got something came up. I have this on my smartphone. I have a thing that's called My ID.
Ooh,
And what this is, it shows there's my picture.
Yep.
This is offered through our company and through Niigata Prefecture. What this does is it has a complete history of the temperature that I take, when I enter the building, I enter it into the format here. Every day I take the temperature twice a day, in the morning, afternoon. It has a whole complete case study. Also, it will register when I have my inoculations, and when it's complete, it'll be on this. So when I leave the airport, I show this, and there'll be some sort of menu that'll come up on the My ID that will be the proof, and it'll be through the city offices. So it's an app. That's what we have now. See, because you don't know, and it's different than what we're doing in Niigata. This is because the government, again, is not keeping up with this. Suga did say there would be an app that would be available for everyone to do, but not all prefectures have done it yet. NSG, the company that's managing the schools that I teach at, already applied for it and got it, because they're getting all the students and teachers inoculated through the school system here.
Yeah, I was inoculated through a company that I'm associated with.
Right. So that's what I mean. So NSG already went through that system, so I have it. Even though I'm getting my inoculation through the city office at Shibata, where I live, that information will be transferred to here, because I had to fill out a form and give it to my company, say I'm getting my inoculation here. So they know that I'm getting that. So when I'm done, when I'm completed with my inoculation, like you got a paper, right? I also give that paper to my company, and then it will be transferred to my app, the information.
Yeah, well, I wonder if there's what's going to happen. I don't know.
Well, the app is supposed to be provided by the government somehow. I don't know. Niigata Prefecture is using this. We actually, because I work at a college, all students have the same app, and Niigata University has it. All the universities that are in this prefecture use that as ID for everything that the students do. So I don't know what they use where you're at in Aichi, and you're not working in a college per se, only. So you might want to ask, the college that you work for, how did the students get their thing? Maybe they have something similar, but that's a college thing. So I don't know what high school students or junior high or elementary kids are doing, or seniors, or those who are physically challenged. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. I don't want to say handicapped, because that's no longer correct. Nope. I don't want to say disabled, because that's no longer correct.
Yep.
Oops, I said it. I was watching something.
What about homeless?
Homeless? No, that's residentially challenged, isn't it?
Or something like that. My brother was telling me about something like that. So it's I don't know what they call it. But they changed it.
Yeah.
The news media did.
Refugees?
Could be.
The social refugees. So.
Well, I know that there's a sheriff somewhere in America who's going to call prisoners residents. Yeah, so
technically they're residing in a jail.
And some of them are permanent.
Oh, it's not a jail. It's not a jail. What is it? What do they call it?
Housing facility? I don't know.
It's a penal institution.
Yeah. So anyway.
Anyway, we can go on. So well, good. Well, COVID is cool. So as the British say, I'll get jabbed on Sunday,
That's gonna be great.
and then we'll see what happens from there. And then after that, so now the other big thing that's happened in Japan especially since the end of the Olympics, we'll have an Olympics update in a few minutes, but before that, we have to talk about weather.
Oh, weather, boy.
It's been hell since the Olympics.
Yes, we've had a rainy summer.
We've had how many? 5 typhoons.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't got anywhere close to my area, but we've had typhoons.
Had 2 kind of go around you like this. And then we had the ones off of Kyushu that came from the southwest.
And one went to the north
of us. So it's like 4 or 5. And some of the rain affected the Olympics. Some of the Olympic events were affected, especially remember the golf, because they had delays in the golf rounds because of lightning and stuff that were coming from the typhoons and stuff.
Yep. And
but recently, just the last few days, we've had horrible rain.
Yep.
And causing a lot of flooding. So now your area has been one of the worst, the hardest hit.
Pretty bad. And it's even today, they had train delays. The rain isn't that bad today, but we've had heavy rain today. But yesterday was tremendous rain.
Yeah.
And when I was going, I had to go to Nagoya yesterday. My trains were delayed 30 minutes.
Wow.
So it was on the day that I had my final vaccination, and you cannot miss the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Or they say that, but I think they would let me in. I don't know, but it would have been, who knows? But the trains were late, and so we've had a lot of rain and flood alerts and flood warnings, and the rivers. I saw the rivers yesterday, and they were all they were all very high.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for a while there, we had extreme heat.
Yep.
Which was really bad. Then followed by extreme rain, and at this time of year, this is the most rain I've ever had that I can remember of 30 years of living in Japan.
Amazing.
In August.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's a dry month.
Yeah, usually it's hot. Yeah, we've had hot. And it's humid, but it's not
humid, but it's not rainy like it is.
It might rain a couple days, but we're talking 2 weeks at one time here was like 10 days straight of some sort of rain.
Yep. And then the rain was it's been heavy, and before that we had that hottest day of the year a couple weeks ago, and it was close to 40 here in Aichi. I think you had that also.
Yeah.
So before that, it was a very rainy period, and then after that, it started raining again, and it's just like almost relentless.
You see, like for us on this side of Japan, we got the rainy season was very short. We only had like 2 or 3 days of rain in the rainy season.
I remember that, yeah.
And then it gave hot weather, and then we've had like 10 days of rain.
For my rainy season, we had a true rainy season. We had a long rainy season.
Yeah.
It started early and then it ended. And then I thought, well, we're going to be done with the rainy season. And then it was done for a little bit, but then it came back and it was a long time.
Boom.
And you didn't have the rainy season that we had.
Nope.
But then we got this recent rain. So yeah, it's clearing up outside now. So that's kind of nice.
Today was blue sky here, hot. It's coming in, it was already, when I came into work this morning, it was already 29, 30 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. So,
and I'm trying to see in Nagoya or here. Yeah, what is 29 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
Right now it's 31 here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the weather has been really extreme. So now
you had an extreme winter too.
Yeah, I mean the snow, and I had snow coming through my windows,
breaking your windows. Crap.
And now I could be one of those guys that can sit there, ooh, global warming really screwed up in my life. eh,
Yeah.
I feel like a dinosaur when that big meteor came. So what's that? You just got to go with the flow.
Well,
babe.
I hope we're not on Earth when that happens. If it happens again, it'll happen again. Probably.
It'll happen again sometime. I mean, it happened many times before. Crater Lake, you know, all the craters in Arizona. We've had craters hit the Earth, but I you know, meteors. I don't care. I mean, I'm just trying to deal with it, you know, and I just want to enjoy the rest of my life, you know, and I'm not going to worry about that. I will, of course, I'm driving a hybrid car. We recycle. I do my bit. You know,
I'm faithful in recycling milk cartons and plastic garbage and things like that, and throwing out my garbage. It's one thing I like about Japan is how everything is so neat and tidy.
yes. So as long as, and I think as long as we take care of our fair share of the duties, you know, I don't need people. I don't need to hear everyday people yelling at me, save this, stop that, don't use that. I'm doing it, okay? Don't nag me, you know. Point your advertisement to somebody that needs it, you know, or needs the push. I don't need the push, you know. I just need you to stay out of my head. Let me enjoy stuff.
Yep. So I agree with you.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we're on that note. We'll agree. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. We're good. No.
Yeah.
Next update is sports.
Sports.
Because
What's happening with sports, Mark?
we just had the first half of the Olympics.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that, you know, in honor of your of people, you know, who deal with different, you know, things in their lives. You know, we have two parts of the Olympics. I mean, all the news I get from America is that the Olympics are over. They were not successful. Wait a minute, they're not over. You only saw the first half. The second half is the Paralympics. What happened to that? That starts next Sunday, I think, right?
Oh, great. Are we going to be able to watch it on TV?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, good.
You're going to get 2 weeks of Paralympics. You know, and you know, for America being so woke and all this crap, all the news that I get, all the media stuff, is like this. It's done. Whatever happened to the basketball team or the soccer team or Simone Biles and the gymnastics or whatever, whoever they throw out there, it's over. Wait a minute, it's not over. You still got a whole 2 weeks more of sports events coming up.
Fantastic.
So the Olympics. The first half, you know, there were some great moments, and you know, it's kind of funky here. You know, how Japan is dealt with the Olympics. You know, because there was no audience, they did everything they could, and you know, and I know Americans were like, well, they should have canceled it, but they can't cancel it. People, come on, there's a contract, and Japan doesn't have the right of canceling. That belongs to the IOC, which America is a member of, by the way. So the IOC is the one who controls that. And Japan was in a condition where it could not host it, and they had to cancel that. Japan would be financially liable for it. You know, and Japan, they did a good job. And I have many students who were volunteers, and they had no problems. They had a great time, and they're still there waiting now to volunteer for the Paralympics too. They're working.
Do they get paid for their hotel or their travel? Or
they get some what do you call it, a stipend?
Yeah.
A stipend, you know, and stuff like that. So, but basically, it's out of pocket. You still have to invest some of your own money, but it's volunteer. That's the whole point.
Yep.
You know. So anyway, so the Olympics will come up. I think the first half was actually very successful, and from the Japanese point of view, and actually primarily from an Asian point of view, man, the Olympics were really cool.
Yep. I asked several people, I said, what are you going to do tonight? They said, I'm going to go home and watch the Olympics.
Yeah. You know, I know in America, the Olympics got a poor TV share and blah, blah, blah. But here, man, it was on, man, every night I'm flipping for different events and watching all these different things and checking it out. And they're not just so centered on watching Japanese athletes. They were watching so many sports. I mean, I'm just wondering how many Americans saw the Greco-Roman wrestling.
Yep.
You know, or the women's boxing. Sorry, I don't know.
There was a lot of complaints there was some complaints of people that saying that they were focusing on too much on America.
Oh yeah, and I mean, people here in Japan were angry. Says, why is the such and such playoff at this time? Why is this? Because everything was based on the American TV schedule. So like the women's softball final where America went against Japan, it was done in the afternoon. I mean, it was done a horrible time. But in order to be prime time in America in the evening, it had to be the afternoon here.
Yeah.
And so that means they're out there playing in this god awful hot weather. And to be honest, because of the American TV schedule, I'm assuming that a lot of Americans didn't do as well as they could have if they were done more of a prime time in a Japanese schedule. For the athlete, if they were being able to perform at the best time for them, you could be seeing more success. But instead, the schedule was based on NBC's schedule that it wanted to show in America.
Yep, because NBC, I think, pays the most amount of money of any broadcasting company in the world for the rights to.
Well, they had all the rights.
Yeah.
They own the rights. So NHK Television, that the Japanese broadcaster, as well as TV Tokyo, as well as TV Asahi, all three of them paid NBC rights to use the feeds from NBC. But so they showed different events. So actually, which is nice. I'm assuming in America you could only watch it on NBC networks, so whether it's NBC, CNBC, or the Peacock. They're showing it. So basically, it's all NBC. But here, you could watch it on 6 different channel networks. 6. Musings 36. Anyway,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and also NHK put it on all of its platforms, so that means you can watch it on NHK General, NHK Educational, and the 2 satellites, as well as the HD satellite network. So if you add the NHK's, all of it, so there's like 9 different places you could watch the Olympics.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Amazing, and then
could you watch it? I'd never tried, but could you watch it online?
Yes, yeah. I watched online too, and actually I have access to NHK Plus, which is the online version of NHK, so I can watch it online. So sometimes I would be at the office having lunch, and I'd be watching the women's basketball.
Oh, great! That's
great. So the Olympics to me, watching the Olympics in Japan, I've watched now. Since 1992 was the first Olympics I saw in Japan. That was the Barcelona. Since Barcelona, I've watched every Olympics through a Japanese lens, and their broadcasting variety is greater than what I ever saw in America.
That's like 8 or 9 Olympics. It's amazing. It's
wow. Well, at least 30 years.
96, 2004.
92, 96.
16, that's 8.
8 Olympics.
8 Olympics in Japan for you.
8 Olympiads.
8 summer Olympics.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think this is my second or third.
Yeah. Here in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the Paralympics. I never watched the Paralympics before until Japan, and I watched the Paralympics, and it's like, man, they got some cool sports.
Yeah, when I was doing some teaching in the schools, they really promote that Paralympic.
Yes, yes.
They promote it, and all the kids know about it.
Yeah, I mean, the sport that I really like, and I tried it, is wheelchair basketball.
Wheelchair basketball, that's right. That's a Paralympic sport.
Yeah, and Japan
I had to teach all these sports names for the Paralympics in
right.
English.
Well, wheelchair basketball Japan is like, the men's are like top 5 in the world. I think Australia is the number 1 wheelchair basketball nation. And these guys, you talk about, basketball where you're botting up and you're dribbling. These guys are doing it with a chair. They're like knocking guys. The guys are flipping chairs, I mean, just, man, nuts, man. It's nuts. I mean, and they're very serious, and the technique is so difficult.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, so watch wheelchair basketball. Oh, they have the wheelchair rugby also. Just amazing, amazing. You know, Japan has this one woman swimmer, and I think she is almost blind, completely blind, but she's like a 100-meter not freestyle, but maybe breaststroke or butterfly swimmer, and she's like one of the best in the world. You know, and she's almost blind, Greg. And they show her jumping in the water, and she knows the pool so well. She's coming up, she's blind. How does she see? And she flips and she turns. What? And then when she taps at the other side, she just pops up, and then they have to go down and they tell her right here, and to get her out. But she's in the water, she's like a fish. She knows exactly where to go. Amazing. It's just the Paralympics. I have far more respect for those athletes now than I ever did, and I feel bad that I didn't really pay attention before. But since I've been in Japan, I pay attention. So everyone out there, the Olympics that are coming up, we have another step. The next 50% of the Olympics is going to happen. So good luck to all Olympians out there.
Well, they were always promoting the Paralympics here too.
Here, yeah. I don't know about America because I don't remember it.
I don't remember. I don't think they showed it on TV.
You know, unless it's new. I mean, it could be new.
I don't know.
See, I don't know. You know, I'm so ignorant. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I apologize to the world. The other thing about sports here that I want to touch on is Otani, Shohei Otani, or Otani Shohei, and man, I watch all of his games, and now I haven't been a fan of baseball. I mean, all my life I've been a fan, but I haven't been a fan of a baseball player in a long time. Where like I like this player, you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you remember that? Were you ever a fan of a baseball player? Like
probably, but not for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, can you remember any?
I think so, but it's been such a long time.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, but I mean, I used to have, you know, Nolan Ryan was one of my favorite players. He played for the Angels, and I remember I had, you know, a Ryan stats. I had an Angels hat. I always wanted to get a Nolan Ryan signature. Never did. Never had a chance, you know. But you know, Nolan Ryan was, you know, I like Nolan Ryan. I also liked Rod Carew when he was with the Angels.
Yeah.
You know, I like the Dodgers' great infield of Garvey. Was it Ron Say, Bill Russell, Steve Garvey, Steve Stacks at second base, you know, great infield. You know, I remember those infields, you know, it's like, wow.
Well, recently in America, they had the Field of Dreams baseball game.
Right. Well, I'll get to that in a second, though. But, you know, the big thing for me is that having a fandom of a player or of a team like that. And I like the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are the world's champions. And I'm really a Dodgers fan, and always have been. But the Angels, you know, have always fallen short. You know, they've always been, but they got Mike Trout, who's considered, according to everyone that I hear, sports, and I listen to sports every day. You know, Mike Trout's the best baseball player. He's, you know, 2 or 3 time MVP already, Greg. He's won the MVP of baseball 2 or 3 times, and he's on the Angels. That's like one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah.
And now you got Otani. And I was watching the game yesterday, and then this will be old news to some people who watch it later, but I was watching they're playing the Detroit Tigers, and Otani's pitching and he's leading off. He's batting, which is unusual because he's in the American League. You know, they're not using a DH. He has to bat. So he pitched 8 full innings. He batted 8 full innings, and he hit a home run. I mean, and he won the game, and he struck out 8 and didn't walk anybody. And at the end, last inning he's pitching, he's throwing the ball 96, 98 miles an hour. And every time he throws, he goes, "Rah!" And it's that Japanese sound, you know, when guys are screaming, "Oh, yes," you know, that kind of stuff. And he's doing that in Tiger Stadium, Greg. It was on TV. He's doing it in Tiger Stadium. Yatta, and I know what he's saying because I understand the Japanese, but
Yeah.
I don't know Americans. They're going, oh, he's screaming. He's not screaming. He's like grunting. He's like, ugh, he's really pitching. And I like it. But they had an incident, and I'm sure that you didn't hear this, but the color commentator for the Detroit Tigers made a comment. What's his name? He was a famous pitcher, Jack. God, what's his name? Holy cow! I'm bad, Greg. I'm bad.
Well, I heard about the story.
But you don't know who the guy, the pitcher, the guy who was
well, he was the Detroit Tigers pitcher for 12 years or something.
He's a Hall of Famer, Greg. That's Jack Morris. He won an All-Star game. He was a World Series. He's a World Series MVP. Jack Morris. You're not a big. Jack Morris is one of the greatest pitchers of the 20th century, Greg.
That's great.
So Jack Morris made and I heard the comment and I listened to it, and I'm laughing because Jack Morris wasn't imitating a Japanese person or an Asian person. If that's what Americans think is an Asian accent, they're stupid.
Yeah.
He sounded like Elmer Fudd.
Oh, well, they don't show that what he said, actually.
Oh, I saw it on YouTube. Here's what he said. He said, the other announcer asked, well, Ohtani's coming up again, so what are they going to do? What are the pitchers going to do? And Morris goes, be very, very careful. He sounded like Elmer Fudd. He didn't sound Japanese. He goes, I can hear this. Be very, very careful. We're hunting rabbits. That's what I heard. I heard Elmer Fudd. I heard Mel Blanc's Elmer Fudd. He didn't imitate a Japanese accent or any Asian accent I know, and I live in Asia.
Yeah.
He didn't sound Japanese. He didn't sound Korean. It wasn't Chinese. It wasn't Philippine. And it wasn't Thai. And wasn't Vietnamese. And it wasn't Nepali or Pakistani. Or the Afghani people that I know here. What other Asian countries? It wasn't Australian. It wasn't New Zealand. He sounded like Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
And maybe he was trying to be Asian, but to me it was more like, that's stupid. Of course he should apologize, and he apologized. And then I like Ohtani's response. And see, Americans don't understand the response. But Ohtani is just like, I'm not offended. Because Japanese people do this all the time. How often, Greg, do students or other Japanese people make fun of you talking in English?
Every day.
Every day. See, Americans don't understand. Yes, what that announcer did was wrong, right? But Ohtani's response is a typical Japanese response. It's normal. I'm not offended. I mean, he's a great pitcher. I respect him. It's okay. No big deal. No big deal. So then when I this, mondai nai. No problem.
No
right?
problem. That's
See,
right.
Because every day I have students in my class who will imitate my voice and go, and I'll go, what are you doing? They go, how are you doing? Right? See, Greg's laughing. Greg, because it's happened to us, right?
Yeah.
Or when you're in a market, when you're talking to somebody in English and the people are walking by going, that kind of stuff. Americans don't know. I mean, sorry, Japan is a very racist country. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Shohei had done that when he was a high school student or when he was younger, right? Greg?
He might have.
Think about it. So Morris was wrong. Shouldn't have done that. Two wrongs don't make a right. But American reaction that Morris he's suspended indefinitely, Greg.
Yeah, he's got to go through some kind of bias training.
So who are they going to get to teach us bias training? What American can honestly say that they're completely unbiased?
They'll find somebody.
Who?
I don't know.
Who? To dig somebody up?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean,
That's the conundrum that they have in America.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing with Naomi Osaka. I mean, what she said was honest and everything, and now there's two people that defend Naomi for taking a stance for mental health and that kind of stuff. Then the other side that says, wait a minute, she's rich, she's got money, so why does she worry about mental health? Money doesn't buy you mental peace. People react differently. As long as we show respect, no matter what we do or what we say, as long as it's respectful, it doesn't matter. Once we stop being respectful, we have problems, right?
Yep, that's right.
Did I say something brilliant, or is it something that we should have been practicing all of our lives?
I think all of our lives, Mark.
I'm sorry, Greg. I went on a diatribe, and you're like, hey, Greg is going, I'm not going to get in trouble with Mark going crazy like this.
No.
Anyway, but it's just amazing to me that people do that kind of stuff. And anyway, I don't want to talk about the Taliban and Afghanistan. I don't want to talk about the U.S. response to that because I don't live in America anymore.
Yeah.
But I like talking about sports and
Shohei Ohtani's done really well.
Yeah, and the Angels have done well. And Angels are at over 500.
Oh, good
they
for them.
Haven't been over 500 this late in the season. Maybe in
What
5,
place
6.
are they at?
They're in third place. They're still behind because Houston is in their division now, and Houston's like one of the best teams of baseball. Then there's Oakland and Seattle, so fourth place. They're like nine games out of first place, but there's 5 teams in the division. They're fourth.
Well,
the top 4 teams are all above 500. So what can you do?
Since the Seattle Mariners came into existence, they've been my favorite team, as have the Seahawks.
Seahawks
for the football.
the Sea Chickens. Sea Chickens.
There you are, folks.
Anyway,
Musings in Japan, number 36 with Mark.
And we're gonna wrap up with the last thing, Greg. It's fantasy football season.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Did you get the message?
I got a message.
The draft time
coming up.
It's on a Sunday.
It's on a Sunday, and it's doable. But I wanted to ask you, how long is that draft going to take?
An hour.
Oh, great.
Because if you're not there, they run through you. The computer does it. They just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
1 hour and it's done. So we can do it, Greg. So
yeah.
So you and I, we have to sit down and plan our drafts. And you know what we have to do? We have to actually study.
Yep. So we got until the 25th or so.
Yeah. So it's August 29th?
Next week.
Yeah, it's next week. Yeah. So
a week from we have a week.
Week from Sunday.
Yeah. Yay.
So my goal this year is last year I ended up in 4th place.
So everyone, Mark and I play fantasy football
That's
on
right.
the internet with one of the sports services. And,
with ESPN.
Yeah.
Free.
It's free. It's
and
great.
Greg joined this league. I got Greg to join this league because we were short a man. I have been in this league for 28 years.
Amazing.
Stupid.
A long time.
Long time. Actually, I'm a charter member. Out of this group, there's only 4 of us left out of the original 10.
Wow.
And
but now, I don't know how many teams we have now. We have 8?
10.
10 teams now?
10 teams. We had 10 teams last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this year. So hopefully I can get some good choices this year?
Well, like last year, I couldn't make it, so I let the computer choose my team.
Yeah.
And I started out so horrible. I started out last season losing 4 in a row, and I'd never done that before. And I made so many trades and pickups and tried to. Greg at one time, ladies and gentlemen, was in first place.
Yep.
Actually, if Greg would have played his chips right, he could have been in the Super Bowl.
Yep. That would have been great.
But he ate the chips instead. So
yeah,
they were good, the chips though.
Actually, I tossed them.
Actually, you ended up, in the regular season, you were in 4th or 5th place, but after the playoffs, you ended up in 9th.
Yeah, I was second from the last.
I finished in 9th the regular season. That's the worst showing of my career. But in the playoffs, oh, by the way, we have 2 brackets. We have a winner's bracket playoff. I was in the loser bracket. Greg and I were in the loser's bracket. But I won the loser's bracket.
Yeah.
I won so I ended up in 4th place or 5th place. 5th.
Yeah.
The best of the worst.
Well,
it sounds like a sausage
this year.
Sounds like a sausage.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Okay, Greggy. So we'll end with that. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone, for Musings from Japan, number 36.
Yeah, and I hope that all of you are in good shape. You're doing the right thing. You're taking care of yourselves as well as your family and friends, and that you continue watching us, because without you, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here.
Not true. We'll be here no matter what.
That's
whether
right.
you watch it or not.
That's right, Mark.
But if you don't want to watch it, tell somebody else to watch it, okay? All right, Greggy.
Yeah.
Have a great day, and get better with the symptoms from the second shot. So you'll
thank you very much.
Yeah, as long as you don't lose your taste, you're okay.
Great.
Yeah, I want to be able to taste that red wine. Oh yeah, Greg, just a reminder, I'm still waiting for my steak.
Oh, okay. You got it. You got it.
Or we could double up and go steak and lobster this year.
Oh, there you go.
Think about it. All right.
Yep.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone from Japan.
Adios. Sayonara.
Sayonara.